In fact, if your movie does not sell, some of the people who read it and like it but don't want to make it might want to see what else you've got. Somebody once asked me the other day, they said they really liked it, and they went on at some length about it. They thought it was really, really good, but they really couldn't make the movie, they said. It wasn't something that they could produce, but they wanted to know what else I had. They also thought that there were, if I rewrote it, there were certain aspects of it that they thought held it back, and that if I worked further on it, they might take another look at it. Now, the writer asked me, he said, are they just being polite? I take a long pause here because I want to ask you, you've heard Hollywood being accused of everything under the sun, destroying the fabric of the moral fiber all around the world, tearing down everything that's good and holy. You hear Hollywood bashed this way, not every day, but every minute, it seems to me, in the media. Everybody loves to beat up on Hollywood, don't they? Have you ever heard Hollywood accused of being too polite, too considerate to artists? I've never heard that. When a writer is told by a studio, by a producer, by a production company, by a reader, by an executive vice president, by anybody in the business, that they'd like to see this if it were rewritten in certain aspects and so on, they mean that. If they ask you for other stuff that you've got, they really want to see other stuff that you've got. If a script is really lame and amateurish and bad, they're not going to say to that writer, do you have anything else for us to read? And so by submitting a script that doesn't even sell, you expand your horizons, you create a wider universe of people who know you and know your work. So don't get married to the notion that failing to sell it means failing in having written it. As I've told you, you will, in some instances, be called in by a company that reads it and say, we don't want to make this movie, but we really love what you've done here. What else have you got? And they may ask you to pitch other notions, and they might hire you to develop a project that you pitched to them. Now, that's not very likely, but it's a lot less unlikely than selling the script outright for millions of dollars. And that's still not the end of it. A little less unlikely still than certainly than they're buying it outright. More unlikely, less unlikely than they're buying a pitch that you do. Somewhat less unlikely is that they'll have something in-house that they might think that you're right for. And they might ask you whether or not you'd be interested in them hiring you to write this particular script about this particular notion that they have. And the important thing in those circumstances is to remember not to tell them how much you like their idea until they tell you the idea, if you follow my reasoning. You're not about to say to a 20th Century Fox, no, that doesn't quite suit me. You're going to, if you're a serious professional writer, you're going to do the best job that you can with that.